Well, this mold making is going really badly. I broke the center core that goes through the middle, and I realized the other two cores I made don't quite fit where I want them to. So this core is probably not going to go so well, but I'm going to do it anyway. I took out the core that goes through the middle, and I left the other two, but I don't have high hopes, but we'll see. Alright, here we go. Again, I don't have high hopes for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm this far. Ooh. Man, it went so well. Why does it have to be a dud? Okay, I brought it inside. Again, like I said, I'm pretty sure that this is a failure. But I'm still gonna let it sit overnight, just in case it's not. So I will see you guys in 24 hours. Okay, it's the next day. It's been about 16 hours. Let's crack this thing open. Again, I don't have high hopes. You know, I really kind of wish I didn't put any cores in there. Then just machined everything. See if it's... This is going to take a lot of cleaning up, so I'll bring you back. Well guys, this one is a pretty big failure. This whole top half is pretty much just hollow. You can kind of see, can you see in there? Sorry, I know it's kind of hard, but I mean that goes way, probably the whole length of the casting actually is just hollow. And same thing here where the inlet was, that's all hollow from air bubbles. And I think in the past I've had these cores make gas, you know, when you pour the mold in, and or they melt in. And I think what I need to do is I need to start putting vents on the top whenever I have cores like this, that are going to, you know, produce gases. And not only that, but these actual cores that I made, you can see here, right there, see they're going through the part. I didn't make the cores the right size because I wasn't thinking, and I tried to shave them down just as a, you know, to see what would happen. But yeah, it probably would have been better if I just didn't put any cores in and just let this be solid, and then I just would have machined everything. It would have been more machining. I would have had to, you know, but I wouldn't have to cast it. But now I need to cast it again. So there's sand left from these cores, and you can see all this is a mess because the mold kind of fell apart. So I'm just gonna let this sit in water for I don't know, maybe a day, just to soften up the sand, and we're gonna have to try this again. So that's kind of, you know, when you get into casting, you have a lot of failures, But you know, you guys get to see these failures, so we're gonna get it next time. Okay, it is now several weeks later. Been super busy with life and other stuff, but the original pattern I had, so this guy, that is my 3D printed pattern. Found a guy on eBay that'll do it for pretty cheap. The other one was kind of not as precise as I would have liked, so I got it 3D printed, and it splits and everything, but I can't show you. Well, yeah, you see. And then I wanted to experiment with, instead of making the mold out of green sand, I'm going to make the mold. This is the sand that I use for making cores, and the whole procedure with the sodium silicate, I threw it away. But this is hard as a rock. And the benefit to this is I can make the mold beforehand and just let it sit as long as I want. In fact, the longer I let it sit, the harder it gets. Whereas the other mold would get dried up and start crumbling. Right? It's kind of a temporary thing. So this is just to reduce the time I spend in one sitting. So this is an experiment, so I'm trying it out. The mold isn't perfect, as you can see. There's some crumblage here. I don't care about that. It's worse on that side. This stuff doesn't behave like green sand does. But I'm going to try it anyway. I got the idea from some people I follow on Instagram. And I got some cores made. I spent some time to actually make these cores a little bit better. They're going to go in like this in here. Like, let me do this one. Okay, so they're going to go. I have to shave it down a little bit, but it's going to go like that. And that's going to provide a cavity that goes in the middle, or that goes into the center. And then I'm going to make another core that goes down the length here. And this will be more obvious, and there's going to be another one on the other side facing that way. So that way the distance between them is only going to be, you know, something like that. Again, I still have to shave it down. But on this side, I got the risers this time, and I made sure to, I don't want any mishaps, so I made sure to drill some vent holes in all the places where I think gas could be trapped. There's another one up there. And hopefully that will stop any gas being trapped, and I won't have a huge void like last time. So alright, I'm going to make this center core, and I'll bring you back when I have everything put together.
You're on camera.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to talk much because some people stopped by. They were walking by and wanted to see what I was doing, so I ended up talking to them and didn't really have much time to talk to the camera. But the pour went pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Again, this is the first time I'm using this core sand as the entire mold instead of just the cores. And one thing I'm noticing is that it seems to be transferring heat much more through the sand, whereas the green sand, since I guess it had all the moisture in it from the water, would keep the heat in better. But I mean, this whole sand block is really hot. So I hope it doesn't melt the plastic underneath. It seems to be okay. I'll show pictures. I didn't take video, but of the mold before I closed it up. I have the patterns, the cores in them for the voids. So you can probably see that right now as the pictures are up. And I'm hoping that turned out okay. It's all a big mystery. This is all a big experiment. And so we'll see. So another thing that I did this time that's also an experiment is I put some of this stuff in it. Foundry ferrosilicon. And this is what I was mentioning before in my previous videos as to a way to make the iron not as hard and more machinable. I didn't know how much to put in. The little bit of instructions they do give says that they use about 7 to 14 pounds of this per ton of iron, so it's a very small amount. So I put about maybe 10 of these, which I think might have been a little too much. Some of them are small though, so 10 rocks, and melted that in. And what I have noticed is when it was melted, the whole top kind of had like a froth to it. It was really frothy, and it was bizarre actually. So that is certainly a difference, and we're going to see how it turned out. I'm really hoping for the best. I'm hoping it's easier to machine. Okay, so I'm going to let it sit overnight because I'm not going to assume that the ferrosilicon worked, and we're going to let it cool slowly. And I'll bring you guys back. See you tomorrow. Alright guys, it's the next day, about 6 p.m. We're going to try to take this out. This is going to be trickier than... Ooh, stuck to the bottom. Ow. Oh man, I did melt a hole right through. It's going to be trickier because the sand is solid. Let's see if I can break this. Alright, well, let me put this in the vise and scrape it off, and I'll bring it back. I don't have any grinding wheel, so I'm using the torch to cut off these gates. A lot more fun. Okay, so now I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel to get the residual sand off. I have safety glasses and a face shield because there's going to be sand flying everywhere at high speeds. So it looks like we have a little imperfection. It's not really in a bad spot, but I'm going to try to repair it anyway. A lot of you guys suggested the last time this happened I use a brazing rod, but I'm going to actually try to weld it with cast iron itself, and we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully it goes okay. So here we go. So here's the rod. It's literally a piece of cast iron. I'm not that good at this, so again, I hope it goes okay. Change my pressures. Try that again. Wow. That turned out pretty good. We're just going to clean that up a little bit, get a better look at what's going on there. Looks pretty good. I kind of lost a corner there. Could fill that back in. I might do that. But I'm going to bring you guys back when it gets more exciting. Alright, so here it is after it's mostly been cleaned up. It turned out pretty good, I think. I cleaned out as much as I could right now. I'm still going to do a better job. Get some wire brushes in there to clean out that sand. But it actually came out pretty nice. These are all cleaned up. This is all going to be machined. This will be machined. So I'm going to clean this up better before we machine it, so I don't get all those sand particles dulling my tools. So that's pretty much it. The spot that I welded up was right there, and I just filed it. I don't know, that doesn't look like the best penetration, but honestly, like, I just wanted to fill it up I did my best to try to get as good of a penetration as I could, but like I said, I'm not the most skilled at that yet. I still need some practice. I think it'll be fine for now. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time when we machine this.